Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Westgarth Realty Audio Experience. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Westgarth Realty Audio Experience. I'm Seb Westgarth, and today I received a phone call. So this phone call came in from a seller located in Brisbane, and they're actually selling a property in New Zealand. And they contacted me to basically get some advice on what they should be looking for when selecting an agent to represent them in the sale of their home. So they're first-time sellers, and they just wanted to ensure that they're selecting an agent who is going to be working for them and in their best interest. So, and what I ended up sort of saying to this particular person is, I went back and I looked at an experience that I had recently with a seller. And during an appraisal meeting and sign up of a listing, the client asked me, "What are you going to do for me?" So I proceeded to pull out our marketing schedule and go through, how bits of marketing work when they're going to be released and how we create that content for those marketing. And basically they stopped me mid-sentence and said, we don't want to know, about the marketing. We want to know what you as an agent are going to do for us. And so this is essentially what I ended up telling this seller in Brisbane, is that basically you're looking at three major things. And knowing how they intend to capture buyers and bring them to the property is the first one. What they intend to do with the information that buyers provide. And then obviously how that information pertains to achieving a successful sale, like what needs to be done with the information that's being collected to ensure that you're achieving top price in a reasonable time turnaround for the sale. Because you guys are, as sellers are, you pay agents quite a lot of money. And the thing is that, as an agent, we do have to work exceptionally hard to ensure that we're, satisfying our customers' needs in that we need to be able to achieve top value. We also need to be able to have that sale happen in a timely process. And so the information that we collect from buyers is super important to being able to relate to the seller and go, hey, look, this is what the market is saying about your property. So let's start with the first one. So it's sort of really important to ensure that your agent is bringing as many buyers as they potentially can to that property. And I basically go through in episode 2 why that's important and how bringing multiple buyers to a property at once helps generate buyer competition. So it's really important to understand how they intend to market your property to capture buyers and bring them to the property. The second thing is the information that they collect. I can sort of go back and think about when I was a buyer when looking for property. And I remember I went to an open home and this agent didn't ask me any questions about the property. They just basically, had a general chit chat with me. And that particular property was something that I wasn't interested in. It didn't tick the boxes that I wanted for a property at that point in time. Anyway, so and what I noticed was that, come Monday, Tuesday, I hadn't received a follow-up call to sort of see if I was interested or not. There was no way that agent would have been able to tell that I wasn't interested, because I asked a lot of questions about the property, grabbed as much sort of information from that agent as I could on the property, but they never did a follow-up. So the seller would have never known what I was thinking about their property. So it's really important to ensure that at an open home, an agent is asking questions of the buyer to work out, is this someone who is a legitimate purchaser for this property? And some of the things that I personally ask, and I feel that, if you're not getting this information, you're not really understanding what the market's saying about your property. So some of the questions I like to ask is, what are things you like about the home? Because we want to know what people really like about the home. They're the features that we want to be pushing harder, especially if they're things that get brought up all the time. The second thing that I ask is, what don't you like about the property? Because if it's something minor and the seller is able to fix that thing that is, something that's, causing buyers to withdraw from the property, all of a sudden we've basically squashed any sort of reason for those buyers to not be interested in the property. So that's a really important question to ask. The third question is, I always ask for a price indication. You don't always get one, but I always ask for one. And the reason why I do that is because buyers are the ones who have the money. They're the ones who are spending the money to purchase a property. So it's really important to know whether or not the market is willing to pay the money that we're currently asking for the property. The third thing that I feel a really good agent does is they take that data, so the feedback that buyers are giving, and they put it into a vendor report. So I'm not talking about a vendor report that you just send from realestate.com.au and it shows you how many people have clicked on pictures and all that sort of stuff, because that's whilst that's important, it doesn't tell you what the market is actually saying about your property. So I go through and I compile all the comments that are made from buyers, and then I also put in any follow-ups that I do. I typically send my reports on a Monday, and I try to contact as many buyers as I can to gain follow-up information prior to sending that out. And the reason why I do that is because the feedback given on the day can be very different to the feedback that I get on Monday. And that's because buyers have had the time to go and have a discussion with their partners, with their friends, with their family. They would have typically looked at a number of properties on the Saturday and the Sunday as well. So they start to get more of a comparison, and then the feedback becomes more honest. And honest feedback is what we're looking for. So we put all that together, and then I send that off to an owner, and then typically I have a discussion with the owner and go, hey, look, this is the feedback we're getting, and a good agent will be able to tell, with price indications especially, whether or not they are legitimate or not. I've had instances where one individual has priced a home at $100,000 more than what we're asking, but they weren't willing to purchase the property at all. So you can sort of gauge and go, cool, you know what, maybe you're not understanding the market, like you've only just entered and you don't really know. And that's the same with really low prices as well. And the thing is that with low prices, depending on what their comments were about the property, they may just be throwing that out there to throw an element of doubt into an agent's mind as well as a seller's mind to bring that price down. So we go through and we basically assess the information that's being given to us and then react accordingly. So they're the three main things that I feel a good agent needs to be able to do for you as a seller to ensure that you're having a turnover in a reasonable time period, as well as obtaining the highest possible value for your property.